Yo, back at it again.
And we back.
And we back.
With another one.
Yes, Lord. It's Kimar Kane. Coming to you all the way live, your favorite country cousin, your favorite Mississippian, and your best friend. Welcome by the beautiful and beautifully talented.
What's up, y'all? It's Ashley FG. Thank you for joining us for another episode of
The Family Tree
Podcast.
Podcast.
Yes. So today,
Yeah.
roots.
Roots.
And not like roots, but like roots. You know what I mean?
For sure. I like that.
Ancestry.
Come on.
Question.
Answer.
What's been your journey or curiosity like when it comes to your own ancestry? We talk a lot about as a people where we come from, but your personal ancestry.
Yep.
What's that been like? I mean, what's been your curiosity there? What have you found out?
Okay. The curiosity probably began, it's 2022. What really sparked my interest in really wanting to know had to been probably 2016, 2017.
Wow, same for me.
Word. I had came across a black doctor who actually studied genealogy for umpteen years.
Okay.
Had him as a friend on Facebook, but I ended up deleting my old Facebook page. So, of course, you know how that goes, starting over from scratch. And I forgot the doctor's name. So I got to get back on my Google search and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Because I do want to talk to that brother because he studied genealogy for so many years. I am not the biggest fan of Ancestry.com.
23andMe.
Not a big fan of 23andMe.
Yeah. Tell me why.
They have already admitted that they are not 100% accurate. So they are falsifying results.
But can you be 100% accurate?
I guess not. I guess not.
You know, like when you think
It's
about
it's
it.
a distrust there. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
yeah.
I understand your distress, though. For
You
sure.
know? And even later on, like when I was living in Atlanta, I got friends who are Haitian, Jamaican, Bahamian, and it's like they have a direct link to their like foundation for real, like where they come from, what culture they can tie themselves to, right? They have an actual like ethnic group. On us, or for me, I speak for myself, is black. But you got cats like, oh, I'm Haitian, or I'm Jamaican, or I'm Caribbean, or I'm Bahamian, or I am goddamn Ghanaian. You know what I'm saying? It's an actual like staple. They can throw a dart on the map and say, hey, this is where my folks came from. That's always bothered me to not know exactly where I come from.
Yeah.
So I have a cousin. Him and I are on the same groove. He's in Chicago. He does a lot of family research within our family. Him and I have conversations about like, hey, this is what I found out. This is what I found out. Like, just trying to piece everything together for real. I remember during the pandemic, 2020, I asked my mother about some information dealing with her dad, my grandfather.
Yeah.
Right? And she showed me this old document, and it showed where they were, like, how they landed in West Virginia. So that's how far I've been able to go back.
Okay.
Is to West Virginia.
Gotcha.
And after that, that's when they came to Natchez, right? Natchez, Mississippi. So still just, I am on a constant search because I really want to know. Because also, I'm one of them cats that don't believe everybody is from Africa. I don't. Black people are all over the world.
They are.
You could very much be a Native American. Cherokee, whatever other Native or Indian tribe there was here already, right? So you have that too. So it's just I'm in limbo,
Gotcha.
And the only thing I can say is that I'm black.
Yeah. Yeah. Blackity black.
Blackity black.
I think that's so interesting that like your quest or your curiosity was really sparked in like that 16, 17.
Word.
Same for me. Quite frankly, a lot was going on in America for black people around that time. And it was just a lot of conversations. You know, we're in the movement, Black Lives Matter. You know, it's just so many more conversations about Blackness. And I know for me, that was after I graduated from the University of Mississippi. So when I went to Ole Miss, I really felt like, you know, one thing my dad even told me after the fact was like, you know, I'm glad that you went because you came back way more mature in your Blackness. You know what I mean? Like being taken out of West Jackson where everything is Black.
Yeah.
You know, whether that's who employed me, where I went to church, where I studied, where I shopped, don't matter. You know, it's just hella Black. Going to Ole Miss really challenged me, you know, in my representation, but also just my knowledge and understanding of myself and my people, you know? So so it was around that time, and it's crazy that I actually got like a tree tatted. I got a tree tattoo in that same phase, and I started, you know, using the archives that were available to me.
Okay.
I started having more conversations in my family.
Yeah.
And then I remember going to a conference, and Ancestry was there. And I was just, you know, I walked by. I was like, okay, let me just pull up on them, see what they're talking about. And they had like this database where I was able to kind of enter some information and found records like with my grandfather, you know, where he lived and what kind of work he was into during this period of time. And the lady actually had some of the DNA tests there. Folks had to pay for it, but she was just like, you know what? I like your curiosity. Go ahead. I took it. I sure did. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I had my reservations.
Okay.
I was hesitant.
Talk to me.
But I was also kind of excited and curious about it as well.
Yeah.
So after I held on to that test for a little while, I sent it in. So this is like 2017. And it's crazy. I went through my email because I'm like, let me find the results again. So I'm going to tell you, the ethnicity estimates, according to Ancestry.com for Ashley FG.
Come on.
42% Nigeria.
Okay.
16% Congo, Western Bantu peoples, 8% Ireland. And it goes on from there. 7% on down, Ivory Coast, Scotland, Mali, England.
Interesting.
Blah, 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 right?
Okay.
So when I got that, I didn't really know what to do with that information, for real. You know what I mean? Because like you, it's like, okay, so really what does this mean?
What does it mean?
You know what I mean? Right? Like, what does it really mean? Right? So I got to that point. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And you know, like you say, not really knowing how truthful it is or what to do with that information. I went back to just my family. You know what I mean? And the ancestry within, like, my maternal and paternal, you know, family, right? So, I mean, with that, now I'm asking questions from some of the elders about how did y'all wind up in Lake Mississippi, you know, for example, on my mom's side, or in Florence, you know, on my dad's side. And I hate to this day that I did not record a lot of those conversations. That's how we get the story and we keep the story. That's how we document it by recording these things, right? We record everything else. And my Uncle Sonny was actually one person, and my mom, she would talk to him all the time, just like, you know, yeah, Ashley gonna get the story. She gonna come up there and interview you. Passed recently, you know, in recent years. And I hate that I didn't have that conversation with him to get that on tape. But, you know, there are others in my family that I know I can talk to. So I've been, honestly, recently just motivated again to do that for my family. You know, I think that's so important. But crazy, like, you know, there was once upon a time when we would normalize like the family tree, like literally like this little breakdown. I went by my mom's house today, right?
Okay.
And this was just up in like our library. It's the genealogy, the family tree of Miss Betsy Butler D. Bird.
Okay.
AKA my Bessie. Like, that's my great grandma.
Yeah.
You know? And so I'm like looking at this document, and we're not used to seeing this, but it's the tree.
Wow.
And it shows, you know, her mother, her sisters, her father, her brothers, her children. So my grandmother, everybody wants to know what's Jerlillian, right? That's the Jerlillian and Jerlillian, right? So that's her. And then here, you know, I've got my dad's name, Solid B. Norwood, and on down, grandkids, there's me and my brother, you know. And this is so special to me, man. This is so special.
That's
like
dope.
I really want to copy this in my house. I'm probably gonna have to take this from my mama. But you know, just again motivated to see us do this, you know, normalize this in our families
For
today.
sure, we need that.
And it could be more modern. It doesn't have to be on a sheet of paper, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we do everything digitally. It could be whatever you want, but to document that.
Yeah, you gotta have that.
That's so important.
Very.
Have you ever seen anything like this? Like
Not
your
nah,
families?
not like no, I haven't. So that is beautiful. And I see the young lady at the top was born in 1897.
1897.
Sheesh.
Yep.
That's gorgeous, man. I ain't gonna hold you. Like whenever I do mine, I want to do it like that.
Yeah.
And frame it.
Yeah.
I'm not big on digital stuff though. I like paper. I like frames.
Me too.
I like the tangibles.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I like to see it, touch it.
For sure.
You know. Yeah. It matters.
It matters. It's a different feeling.
It's so many stories, man. And the thing is, like, the older we get and the older they get, a lot of stuff starts to get kind of, you know, muddy. You know? So what we can be doing now to get the story and to tell it straight, that's what we want to encourage everybody to do. Quite frankly, the Family Tree, I would love for us to get in the business of helping people do this for their own family.
Why
you know
not?
what I mean? I feel the spice.
You got the whole.
I think we can do that.
You
You
just sparked the fire in me just now.
Like
That's a great idea.
let's be the examples first, though. Okay?
Let's do that.
Let's do it for ourselves.
Let's
and
do
our
it for
family.
ourselves
And then we can show people how to do it.
and document it in the process as we document.
That part. When it comes to, you know, knowing your roots, knowing where you come from, you know, I mean, we talked about Ancestry and their ethnicity estimate. But, you know, bringing it closer to home, why do you think that's important for Black people? Young Black people like ourselves.
Because it lets us remember who we are. It teaches us who we are.
That part.
And who we could become, right? My grandfather was a carpenter, built a lot of the churches in my hometown. You know what I mean? A lot of the homes in my hometown. My other family members had various businesses and were staples in the community. So it was like all of that are the makeup of myself. So it's important for us so that we can know who the hell we are.
That's so true.
And who we can become.
Cause you know, even some of that could be genetic. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, even when I think about my mom's dad, I mean, he was a successful entrepreneur in the Delta. He had his own photography business where he would go into the city of Greenville, take all the pictures for the white rich families, like they trusted him to capture their moments. But he definitely took care of like his own kids, their photo albums. Still to this day that we look at, and I see my mom like as a baby,
Wow.
you know, sitting up on some kind of prop that he had. You know what I mean? Like he's got his own room where he's developing these photos, and he always took photos of my grandmother. And she was a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
But like that was part of his love language. Like, you know, he gonna catch his baby, whether if she's, you know, feeding one of the kids or she's just sitting around. Like he admired her beauty through that lens, and I love to see that. But then it's just like looking at myself today as a filmmaker, as someone that's in media. I feel like I channel him in a way, you know. And recently, when my Uncle Sonny passed, one thing that he held on for me from my granddad was like a camera and a tripod, you know. And this is from back in the day, right?
Vintage.
So I don't even know if I'm gonna use it, but you know, just to have that, it's
Just
so
to have it.
sentimental, you know.
For sure.
But to know about his story and about, you know, his entrepreneurial spirit, like that motivates me. That's why we need to talk about, you know, where we come from, who's in our family, because a lot of that we can see reflected in ourselves.
Big facts.
And that's beautiful.
And we talk about representation matters. Start with your family.
I like that.
Representation matters, yeah.
that.
You know, we ain't got to look on. It's just like when you look up for answers, like truth seeking, like we talked about in the previous episode.
Right?
You know, the truth is within. Look within. Go within. You know what I mean? Same thing with your family. Representation matters. Look within your family. Examples are there, and then you'll be able to express what they've expressed times 10 to the rest of the world. And you'll be confident in that because you know who you are through them.
Wow.
We honor our ancestors anyway. We pour libations for our ancestors anyway.
Right. Right.
Do it with
Right.
our immediate folks.
So, there's this culture of like wanting to connect spiritually with ancestors. What do you think about that? Have you ever encountered that, or have you ever thought about practicing that? What does that look like? Or just what's your opinion on that? Spiritually, Black people wanting to either channel their ancestors or connect with their ancestors.
Honestly, I am getting more open to that. Like channeling previous ancestors. I wasn't into it in like earlier on.
Yeah.
You know, those different practices. Like some people go as far as having altars for their ancestors. Quite frankly, that's not my thing. I would rather my ancestors speak to me through that and the photos, like you said, that your folks had, right? I would rather do it that way.
I got
I
you.
don't want to necessarily. I don't know. I'm on the fence with some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it gets deep
It gets deep
and heavy.
and heavy.
And it's a territory that I'm unfamiliar with,
Facts.
quite frankly.
Yeah, me
and
too.
when it comes to the spiritual realm and reality, I try to,
Yeah.
But I understand, I guess, like the need or the desire. You know what I mean? Because I think it all stems from the same place. Like just wanting to be empowered by that. You know what I mean? By
sure.
them, right? Because we are a product of them,
Yeah.
right? So I understand it, but no, I ain't never took it there.
Nah, I ain't took it there.
I ain't never took it there.
I pay my respects. I pour the libations. And even I haven't had the chance to exercise this as of yet, but I did say, as I'm getting back on these stages and doing public speaking, it's like from the elders in the room, do I have permission to speak?
What does that mean?
It means that I have enough respect for those that came before me to allow to roll out the red carpet for me as I'm rolling it out for them, giving honor to one another. They're allowing me the new voice to speak, not only to my people but to them as well.
And why is that important?
That is important for us to see that where we're going, but also for the elders to see, kind of how I said before too, just for them to see where things are going as well.
Yeah.
That they can trust us with the information that we putting out.
Respectfully.
That's why
I like
it's
that.
important. Like, because you hear all the time, when you're younger, like you the next generation. Like
Yeah.
you got next. Like when we get older, the world gonna be in your hands.
Yep.
So it's like, and a lot of those elders, they've seen you grow up, whether they be part of your family or not, like just in the community, and they see the work that you've done or are doing, and they trust you to speak.
Yeah.
Just there,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, getting back to the roots, man.
Get back to the roots.
I think that curiosity, it comes at different times for us all. But, we encourage you to get back to your roots.
Indeed.
Ask those questions. The resources that are available today, use them. Invest time in that. Invest money if it takes money.
It takes money for sure. Those documents can get expensive.
Definitely. Right? But be consistent about it. And, like Kane said, like, understand the importance of it.
Please. You don't want to lose. Oh, man. You lose that family history, those roots. Those roots get dug up from the ground. You have no base for your tree. Everybody's all over the place, and you're going to lose yourself in the process.
Like that.
I'm telling you.
That's some real
You're
talk.
deeply rooted. Stay rooted. Do not uproot. You got to keep certain things going, or else you're gonna lose yourself in the process.
Yep, I agree.
That ties to your true identity.
Yes, identity. I love that you use that word.
Yes.
That was the reason for my quiz.
Ugh.
You know what I mean? To better identify with myself.
Come on.
And I know that I can't do that unless I know, like you say, where I come from.
Indeed. It's the blueprint.
Yep. Beautiful.
Hey, man.
Beautiful.
Did it again.
Yep. Thank y'all for joining us for another The
Family Tree
episode.
Podcast
episode.
Hey. Man, this is beautiful. Looking forward to the next one already.
Yep.
Peace and blessings.
All right, y'all.
Love and respect.